So I grew up in Long Island. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. And even though I love my siblings very much, when I was 11 years old, I couldn't help but think that they were holding me back. You know, I wanted to read the newspaper. I wanted to listen to George Carlin records. I wanted to steal sips from my dad's beer when he wasn't looking. But no, I had to play with Barbie dolls. I had to babysit. I had to change diapers. I did not sign up for this. I had to wonder, did my parents understand sex at all? I mean, why did they have so many kids? And why were they my problem? I just wanted to have some peace, and so I'd go into the den, close the door, and watch TV when I could, alone. And I'd go to Channel 8, and then PBS, Channel 8, PBS, 8, over and over again, because every time I went to Channel 8, for a second before the scrambling effect kicked in, I saw boobs. Sometimes penises, but usually boobs. This was the Playboy channel, and I was like, that's it. That's my future. But then the president would always come a-knocking. Fraggles, fraggles, fraggles. Shit, it's them. And so I turned PBS back on, and in the 80s, PBS was the Hitler channel. So it has some documentary going on, and they opened the door, and I'd see the Rugrats, and they had stupid little nicknames like Bunny or Monkey or Pretty. I didn't need no nickname. My name's Derek, and in German that means leader of people. And Germans don't take any crap. So I told them, I need some breathing room to the Sudetenland. And they ran away, because that's what appeasers do. But soon my mom would come and turn off the TV and say, just cut this out and play with your brother. Great. See, my brother is 5 years younger than me. And he can't do simple things like he can't throw a ball, he can't even catch a ball. And his knock-knock jokes, totally lame. And this kid cries all the time. I mean, he cries when I call him stupid. He cries when I rip Legos out of his hand. And he even cries when I push him down on the ground. He cries so much, my mom calls him Kuss, because his name is Chris, and wuss gets attached to the end. Kuss. And like, no one disputed this analysis because, I mean, it was totally true. But no matter how much he cried, he always wanted to know one thing. Derek, can you play with me? I know, right? But what do I care about that? Because there are high school boys playing down the street, stickball, and that's where the real action's at. And so I'd go climb the tall tree in our backyard, and I'd watch them. But there would be Chris. You know, he couldn't climb up there, but he could see me, and he always let me know, I can see you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Fine, you can see me, but I wish you were dead. Because you see, the boy down the street that I wanted to hang out with was Tommy. And he wasn't just a jock. He was also our newspaper boy, and that meant he had brains. And he carried around this little green book. It's for accounts, he said. And I was like, yeah, accounts. And he had this big wad of $1 bills. He was rolling in it. Like, if I wanted that kind of money, I'd have to swindle dimes from my brother Chris, like, for months. Adults just gave it to this guy. So I started following him around on his newspaper route, and I would stick my face into his bag of newspapers, and I just breathe in the newsprint. It was amazing. You know, and if a paper fell apart when he dropped it on the stoop, I'd rearrange it. And sometimes I'd grab a big stack of papers and deliver them on my own. This was like my first internship. But after a couple weeks of this, Tommy's like, look, I can handle this by myself. But Tommy, go away. Tommy dumped me. He dumped this. It totally sucked. Anyway, that winter, a big storm hit and left this big pile of snow at the end of the driveway. And I saw it. My fortress of solitude. And I spent an entire day digging that sucker out, and if Chris got too close, I'd throw snowballs at him and chase him away. And when I was done, I had an igloo. Capacity, moi. And I stocked this thing with snowballs, fruit roll-ups, my Sherlock Holmes collection. Everything was cool, place all to my own. And it was so cold that winter that the igloo lasted a really long time, and next Saturday, I saw Tommy walking around in his route, and for some reason I started tossing snowballs at him. And it had been so long and so cold that they were frozen solid. And he's like, "You better watch it, punk." He looked so stupid in his black hoodie and knit cap. And when he got to my house, he's like, "Oh, what a cute little snow fort you got, woo!" And I thought, cute? I made that with my own 2 hands, you dick. So I said, "I don't like you, Tommy." "Oh yeah? I don't like you either." And his lips curled, so I could do the only thing I could think of, which was this. But he just laughs at me and walks up to the front step and drops off the paper. So I shout, "Tommy!" And as he turns around, I fire an ice ball right at him. Now normally my hit rate's like 20%. But this thing's right on target, and I see his eyes widen. Boom, right in the face. And he wipes the snow away, and there's this bright red welt, and I'm thinking, bullseye. I'm the man! And I do a little jig, you know, it's so awesome. But then his eyes narrow like Hitler's. Scheisse. And so I run and I dive into that igloo, I cradle my books, they're my only protection now. And he runs up and he's like, "You get out of there, you messed with the wrong paper boy." But I don't move. And this weird silence follows until Chris says, "Derek!" And the ceiling, the roof collapses down upon me, and Tommy just rifles through this thing like a Panzer tank, and in seconds, it is over. And he says, "See ya, punk," and rolls off. And I just lie there. I'm staring at my breath fog between my face. I mean, the rubble's all around me. And that's when Chris shows up. And he's crying, because that's what quisses do. And he's all slack-jawed, too. Like, he can't believe that I'm still alive. And he starts grabbing chunks of snow and putting them up all around me. But they keep falling down. So I figure I got to put it in kid terms. I'm like, "You know the story of Humpty Dumpty, right?" "Yeah? Well, this is Humpty Dumpty. But I want you to have your igloo." That little shit. Like, he's looking after me. I'm his problem. I couldn't believe it, and I guess that's why a year later when I got my own paper route, Tommy's old route, incidentally, I let him tag along, because he had my back. And I figured maybe if the shit went down, I'd have his back too. Thank you.